This video review is brought to you by BigBadToyStore.com. BigBadToyStore.com, your #1 source for toys.
What's going on, guys? Today we are taking a look at Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Crosshairs. Crosshairs is modeled after the brand new Corvette, and I have to say I really like the lines on this alt mode, even if getting him into this mode is a little bit tricky. As you can see, I have a mistransformation there. Overall, the alt mode doesn't look too bad, though I do have a kind of a major gripe. It's not huge, but I don't get why Hasbro only painted one side of the figure. So we have these neat lines going across the one side of the alt mode, and nothing on the other side. That's just lazy. I mean, come on. Even the much cheaper Power Punch version of the figure has the paint on both sides. And it even has the Autobot symbol on the hood. Yet the Deluxe Class Generations figure does not. Why? Anyway, overall, I think the alt mode is really striking, other than the lack of paint apps. I think it looks good. I really like the alt mode. Turning it over, though, you see that Crosshairs is just underneath the car. I mean, there's a bot hidden underneath a shell, it looks like. It's just a little bit weird. The alt mode, as I said, is really cool. A little bit of a pain in the butt to get it in this mode, which we'll talk about later, but overall, nifty. Transformation for this guy isn't too bad. Getting him back into this mode is a little bit tricky. We'll talk about that later, but transformation is pretty easy. Take the runners and you kind of pull them away from the vehicle mode and point them down, and then you can take the sides by the tires and push them up. And then once you do that, you can then kind of wiggle the figure in the hood. The hood, the roof, windscreen, and rear of the car are all one big connected piece. Then unpeg the wheels from the back, take the roof of the rear trunk section and fold that down over the hood or the roof, and flip the roof and the sides back away from the rest of the figure. And then we turn the figure around and get started underneath. Underneath, the first thing we're going to do is unpeg his gun, which we'll just put off to the side. Take the wheels and fold them out away from the figure and fold down the shoulder pads, thusly, and I like to leave the arms up and out of the way. Coming over to the feet, split the front of the car apart, turn the inside of the bumper around to face the front of the figure, fold out his heels, and then flip down his feet, like that. And then this is where things get a little bit weird. Remember these side bits? Well, these are going to form part of his trench coat. There are rubber flaps inside the doors that will actually peg into his chest. And they take a little bit of fiddling, but they do go in there. Now, inside this section is a gun. In fact, each side has a little, like, pistol. So the figure comes with 3 different weapons. So just kind of have to fiddle with them and get the guns out, and then flip out the other side and peg that into place. Stand him up so that he's balanced, and bring his arms down onto the outside of the trench coat. And we're done. The robot mode that we end up with for Crosshairs isn't too bad. My only real complaint is there's way too much black on this figure. I can't tell what is and isn't part of his alt mode. I get that he's supposed to have a cape or a trench coat, but it's all black, so I can't really differentiate any detailings other than the level of shininess. The trench coat parts seem to be less shiny than the rest of him. Overall, though, he's not a bad Deluxe Class figure. He definitely looks cool, and if you pose him in such a way that he has this giant car bit hanging off of him, he can use that as a third leg, so that is actually not too bad. I just think he's overly busy. Like I said, there's nothing really wrong with the figure. I just don't think the execution is as good as it could have been. And man, he just needs more coloring than a little bit of silver, green, and black. That would be really nice. Overall, though, he's not a bad-looking figure. He does have quite a bit of kibble, especially when you look at him from the back. I mean, he's got a freaking car hanging off his back. But other than that, he's not bad. The guns do have no problems. The figure has no problem holding his guns, but they do fall out pretty easily, and all of his guns can be wielded by any other Generations class figure. Like I said, not too shabby, but a little bit busy. The figure's head sculpt isn't too bad, but as you can see, you do lose some of the detailing, which there is a lot of, in the single paint scheme. Now, I realize it's very hard to paint a figure like this. He also does have light piping, which you could see. He has these nice baby blue eyes, and he's one of the first figures that I've actually gotten light piping to work on. It's just really weird, this line in light piping. Overall, I think Crosshairs isn't a bad figure, it's just not my favorite. I still think the Deluxe Dinobots are a lot better than any of the other Deluxes we've gotten so far, or that I've gotten a hold of at the time of this review, which is only 4 of them. Like I said, not a bad figure, just not a great one. It is worth having, though, I think. It's a strange figure. Problems could be fixed with a little bit more paint. That's just something that I think I'm going to have to do myself, in all honesty. Hasbro sure isn't going to do it for me, but I'm sure a couple of customizers out there are going to take up that mantle. Now, transformation back into car mode is a bit on the tricky side, because you have to fold up the rubber trench coat, and sometimes that doesn't fold up quite right and gets in the way, and panels just do not want to line up on this guy. I don't know why. It's just, they just don't. So what I like to do is try and get the front of the vehicle mode situated and merged or connected up first. So we've got the front done. Now we can start fiddling with the arms. So bring the arms down, fold the wheels up, flip this section in, and then just kind of work around the trench coat piece as best you can. It's not easy, I'm not going to lie. It's really kind of a pain in the tuchus, because the trench coat bit has a tendency to just get in the way more often than not. And I could have done without the trench coat, in all honesty. I really don't need to have a Transformer with a trench coat. I never asked for it. I get what they were trying to do design-wise, I just don't think they executed very well. And just getting him back into vehicle mode is a bit of a hassle because of those trench coat pieces, specifically. But once you do it, I think his vehicle mode is really good looking, save for the lack of paint on the right side of the vehicle. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review of Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Crosshairs. I think he's worth picking up, but we may want to wait and see if we're going to get a Voyager of him, or if he even survives to the end of the movie. As usual, gang, I'm baltmatrix, and I'll catch you next time.